So I was looking around for articles this morning, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to drop a video today since the last one was so popular and whatnot. And I found this article that I think is important because there's more to it than meets the eye. And I apologize, you hear some babies in the background. I got my daughters, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So we got whistleblower complaint about Trump involves Ukraine, report says. Right? Now, Ukraine is at the center of a complaint that made a whistleblower intelligence officer who filed a report after learning of a promise President Donald Trump made to a foreign leader, the Washington Post reported Thursday evening. The newspaper cited two people familiar with the matter whom it did not name. The Trump administration has withheld the details of the report from Congress, though it was known that the complaint involved the foreign leader. The Post was the first to report on the country involved. NBC News has not confirmed that the Ukraine is at the center of the issue. A request for comment from the White House was not immediately returned. The newspaper first reported this week that the complaint was by an intelligence officer troubled by a promise Trump had made during a communication and interaction with the foreign leader. A former U.S. intelligence officer familiar with the matter confirmed to NBC News Wednesday night that the whistleblower complaint involves a phone conversation that Trump had. Right. This is kind of interesting. 2.5 weeks before the whistleblower complaint was filed, Trump spoke with Ukraine's new president, Volodymyr Zelensky. The Post reported the House Democrats announced last week that they will investigate the role of Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, in what they characterize as efforts to influence the government of Ukraine to help the Trump re-election campaign. The Post editorial bird September 5th suggested that Trump was withholding military aid to Ukraine to pressure it to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden, who is on the board of a Ukrainian gas company. Now, see, here's the problem with this. See, most people would stop here, right? But see, this is Pnoid News, and we don't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop at the very beginning of things, right? What we do is we go the whole way with it and start figuring out why this would be an issue just as an in general thing, right? And so I went and started looking around. This is a Vanity Fair article from May of 2019. And it says, in a move to trigger 2016 PTSD, the New York Times has published nearly 3,000-word tale of intrigue involving the Biden family's various entanglements in Ukraine. In short, the story in the final year of the Obama presidency, Vice President Joe Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion in United States loans guarantees if Ukraine's leader did not dismiss the country's top prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, who had been accused of turning a blind eye to corruption in his own office and among the political elite. The pressure campaign had also happened to benefit Biden's younger son, Hunter, who was then getting paid as much as $50,000 to sit on the board of Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian energy company that was in Shokin's sights. The question that time raises but does not answer is, were Joe and Hunter's overlapping interests in Ukraine coincidental or corrupt? The Bidens say Joe acted without any regard for the impact to his son and that Hunter never discussed private business with his father. But of course, that seems unlikely to put this story to rest. The current Ukrainian prosecutor general recently decided to reopen the investigation in the Burisma, which could unearth new details about Hunter's work. No surprise, the story is also being heavily promoted by Donald Trump and his allies, including lawyer Rudy Giuliani. According to the Times, Giuliani has met repeatedly with both the ousted Ukrainian prosecutor and the new prosecutor and has discussed his findings with Trump, who then suggested he would like Attorney General William Barr to look into the matter. Perhaps that is why Barr was at a loss for words on Wednesday when Senator Kamala Harris asked whether the president or anyone in the White House asked or suggested that you open an investigation into anyone. Times reporter Ken Vogel presumably seeking to preempt accusations of water carrying, explained on Twitter that the paper's interest in the subject predates Trump. To be clear, independent of Rudy Giuliani's efforts, the intersection of @Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in Ukraine warrants scrutiny. He said, noting that the Times had been reporting on the Burisma story in 2015. Some within the Obama State Department, too, were concerned with the appearance of impropriety or with the possibility that Hunter's business could complicate his father's diplomatic efforts. I have no role whatsoever in relation to any investigation into Burisma or any of its officers. Hunter Biden told the Times in a statement, I explicitly limited my role to focus on corporate governance, best practices to facilitate Burisma's desire to expand globally. I told you, man, I got my babies here with me. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But I wanted to get this story out to you, and I thought it was kind of important, especially for guys like, let's just be frank, who I think is going to take this story and run with it a little harder. Nevertheless, the Times report dovetails with Trump world efforts to get the Biden-Ukraine story in the news. The Hill reported in April on Joe Biden's 2020 Ukrainian nightmare. More recently, the right-wing American Greatness and conservative-leading Fox News both highlighted stories about the Biden family's entanglements in Ukraine. MAGA-friendly outlets Breitbart and the Daily Wire made hay of the story on Thursday, leveraging the journalistic credibility of the Times. The Burisma affair, whether coincidental or scandal, may be just the first volume, was likely to become a broader war over Joe Biden's conduct and record. Past speculation about the Biden family drama, which has centered on Hunter's documented struggle with drug use and his recently ended relationship with his late brother's widow. Yeah, this guy sounds like a fucking winner, right? But the bigger threat might actually be Hunter's past business enterprises already. There's another attack line looming on the horizon in his latest book, Secret Empires, How the American Political Class Hides Corruption and Enriched Family and Friends. Breitbart editor-at-large Paul Schweitzer describes how a private equity firm managed by Hunter Biden, Rosemont Seneca Partners, LLC, negotiated a $1.5 billion investment deal with the state-owned Bank of China at the same time his father, then vice president, was conducting high-level diplomacy with Beijing. On one of his trips, Hunter allegedly made use of Air Force Two. Whether or not the Chinese hope to curry favor with Hunter's father, Trump's allies are sure to make note of the issue, especially given Joe Biden's controversial remark of the week, downplaying China as the economic competitor. A spokesperson for Hunter Biden disputed Schweitzer's claims to the Journal. Now, not only is that bananas, right? But here's one that's a little more crazy as well, right? So I went and looked up this Burisma group on Wikipedia, right? This is where I found some information on it anyway. And I mean, mostly because it's a Ukrainian company, so finding, how do I put this? English language sites are a little difficult. You're right. Burisma Group is an energy exploration and production company operating in the Ukrainian oil and gas market since 2002. The head office is in Moscow, Cyprus. Right. Burisma Group was founded in 2002, Ukrainian business in whatever. Yeah, I'm not pronouncing any of those names. It's a leading private natural gas producer operating in Ukraine, offering a wide range of services. Company is the first and only fully integrated gas operator in Ukraine, engaged in exploration, production, processing, transportation, and final sale of hydrocarbons. The company holds 35 licenses for hydrocarbon production in all main oil and gas basins of Ukraine, including the Dnieper, Donetsk, and Carpathian. The fields are connected to the nearby gas pipelines. 87% of whatever is generated in the some shit basin. 91% of the Burisma Group's production volume comes from the Dnieper, Donetsk basin, which contains 82% of the natural gas reserves in Ukraine. The company has a 30% share among independent domestic gas, oil, and gas producers. The gas uses 40,000 channel, 30 seismic islands, yeah, whatever, right? We don't really care about that at the moment. Now, here's where it gets fucking interesting. A number of non-Ukrainian directors were appointed in 2014 including Alexander Kownacki, former president of the Republic of Poland, appointed in January 2014. On 18th of April 2014, Hunter Biden, then son of U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, who managed U.S.-Ukraine relations for the Obama administration, was appointed to the board of Burisma Holdings. On their website, Hunter Biden wrote that he believed Burisma was important to the economy of Ukraine and would be consulting the companies on matters of transparency, corporate governance, and responsibility, international expansion, and other priorities. He became an acting member of the board of directors on 12th of May 2014. In February 2016, Joseph Culver Black, the director of the CIA's Counterterrorist Center in the George W. Bush administration and ambassador at large for counterterrorism 2002 through 2004, joined Burisma's board of directors. I think this is a big scandal that should be broken. I don't know about y'all, but maybe, just maybe, we should probably talk about this. I'm just saying, maybe somebody needs to investigate this a little more. It's a little over my pay grade as far as things are concerned, as far as most of my stories are concerned, because I'm not a super political guy, right? But let's be real, I'm not that type of dude who should be breaking this story. But on the same point, I feel like if nobody else is going to do it, while they're over here, arguing for nonsense, I should probably be to do it, right? Now, here's the crazy part, right? Now, Martin Williams, directors of the U.S.-Ukrainian Business Council, discerned a conflict, though he had seen no direct evidence of one. He argued it was a problem of appearance, and there was an unspoken American tradition that frowns on close family members of government working for organizations with businesses linked to active politics. At the same time, Melanie Sloan, executive director for the non-president Citizen Responsibility, stated that unless there is solid evidence that Hunter Biden got his influence in American foreign policy, there's no clear line that has been crossed. Joe Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion of loan guarantees if President Poroshenko did not fire Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin, who was investigating corruption in Burisma Holdings, and then he was fired on March 29th, 2016. I'm just saying, this sounds like a major scandal. I'm going to leave it to bigger channels to break this to you. All right, it is what it is. But you know how that operates for me. In the meantime, it's Tom Peters of Pnoid News. Make sure you hit that sub button. I apologize for the noise in the background today. I ain't going to get a peaceful moment. It is what it is. I'll holler at you later. Peace.